Oh, what is going on, racers? What is going on, racers? Welcome to another edition of Late Model Monday. I'm your horsepower and performance host, Terry Bridges. We got a great show for you tonight. We got the great Steve Mortland and Tom Glithero. So don't go anywhere. You're dialed into the show that informs, entertains, inspires, and promotes all things that go left. Welcome to Late Model Monday, the weekly show to stay in the know about asphalt late models here in the Pacific Northwest. Tonight's show is brought to you by Miller Kitchen and Bath, Bailey General Contractor, and by Myers Floor Cover, Welcher's Gun Shop, Flaming Pig Barbecue, and by the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval and the Leonard Evans Used Car Superstore, and by the great folks at Product41.com, McKinney Glass of Yakima, Atomic Screen Printing, and BLG, Blue Line Graphics. Be unique, stand out, and get noticed. www.blg.blue. And now, back to your horsepower and performance host, Terry Bridges, and the low Jeff Eady. Oh, what is going on, racers? Welcome to another edition of Late Model Monday. I'm your horsepower performance host, Terry Bridges. It's a beautiful day out there in the Pacific Northwest. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in. We got a cool show for you tonight. Got two of the Northwest's greatest broadcasters going to be on at about 10 after the hour. And that would be the great Steve Mortland and the great Tom Glithero. So looking forward to talking to them about, oh, man, this is crazy. Don't tell me we're going to start this. Get offline, everybody. There we go. Am I there? Yes. I'm still there. Sorry. No. Yeah, okay. I'm going to use the camera. Oh. No, I got to start over. Well, I hope we don't do this all night. Crazy. Crazy. Those of you here on Spreaker, hang with me. I'll be back in just a moment. If you're serious about racing, you're constantly looking for an edge. A tenth here, a pound there. It's a non-stop pursuit to find a quicker way around the racetrack. See High Performance believes to beat the racetrack, you must become the racetrack. And that is the thought process behind all of their innovative speed products. From their line of Superfly bodies and wings to the latest dual-disc center vane Super Brake, it's all about finding a quicker way around the racetrack. With 45 years of innovation, See High Performance is dedicated to helping racers of all skill levels find an edge. Whether it's horsepower tuning, chassis dialing, or tire science, it's their commitment to innovation that sets them apart from the rest. Innovation is not what is, it's always been about what can be. So be all you can be with the integrity, innovation, and inspiration of C High Performance. Shop online 24/7 at chighperformance.com. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Sorry about that. Everybody and their brother must be online. Usually I can see my videos up here, and it's 2.2, 2.3, sometimes up to 3 megabytes, but crazy. I'm sorry about that. Sorry for the breakup. It's not me. I've got everything. This is a Facebook deal and not my deal. But we're back. We got a great show for you here on Late Model Monday. We got the great Steve Mortland, Tom Glithero going to be joining us, two of the best. What's up? Man, what is going on? What is going on? I'm sorry, everybody. Hopefully it stays, is it? No. All right, so I'll try this again. I was hoping this wouldn't happen, but I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to have to try this again. Gosh darn it. Dang. Anyway, I'm going to keep the faith that this thing will work. I don't know, everybody and their brothers on Facebook. Get offline, everybody. I don't know why it's never had this happen before. I don't know what's going on, but I'm hoping it will. Let's see here. Use camera. We're going to go here. We're going to go Late Model Monday. We'll try that. Maybe it's just I don't know. Okay, so we'll stop that. Do that. There we go. We'll go there. We're gonna use the camera. Go live. There we go. Let's try this. Bang. Boom. We're waiting. Hopefully it's going. Hey, what is going on, everybody? Sorry, that is not me. It is Facebook. I'm hoping it's fixed now. But here we are. We're back live again for the third time. Hopefully this keeps going. We got the great Steve Mortland, Tom Glithero are going to be joining us at 10 after the hour. Yo, yo, yo. Check out the shirt, Connolly. There you go, baby. I got my Northwest figure 8 on. Man, I'm just praying this thing goes. So if my mind's kind of back and forth, yeah, I'm just hoping this keeps up. What is going on, everybody? Sorry about that. It is not me. I'm just telling you that right now. It's Facebook. Everybody and their brother must be on tonight. So every now and then, you know, like the last week, we had pretty good stuff. But hopefully, it stays up and going. Tonight we got Tom Glithero, Steve Mortland going to be joining us. I told you that for the third time and now the fourth time. And I'm just hoping, I'm looking at the megabytes per second. I'm just hoping it stays. If it doesn't, if for whatever reason it doesn't, I urge you to tune in. You can go to www.spreaker.com. I'll put that up there so you guys can get to it. www.spreaker.com. And then you just look up Late Model Monday, and it should be up there. But I'm hoping everything, it's going to be going now. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Going to be a cool show. Hopefully Facebook doesn't let me down. That's where you need to go. Yeah, thank you, John. I'm hoping that it doesn't. But hey, Dylan Rupert, what's up, man? So we got Steve Mortland, Tom Glithero. We're going to be talking to them. We're going to be talking a little bit about the COVID, what tracks need to do, what their thoughts are. I mean, this is unprecedented, everybody. Never had this happen before. And so, you know, and I shouldn't really blame Facebook. I'm sure that they are overwhelmed with stuff. I just talked to the loader this afternoon, and he said there was a modified race back in South Dakota, and there was nobody there, but they streamed it live, and they had so many people hit on it, it broke the server. So you can only imagine what Facebook's going through with everybody at home. So, yeah, right, John? That's like crazy. But so I'm just saying I really shouldn't get angry at Facebook. That's number one. That's not really the right way to operate. Number two, they're doing the best they can. I'm sure they don't want stuff going down or breaking down. So if the video seems a little jumpy, I promise it is not on our end. We got everything like we have normal. It's just I'm sure that Facebook is just, you know, buried with stuff. So if I do lose you or whatever, you can, yeah, they want to see racing. But you can go to Spreaker, and then you just click on that, and you just look up Late Model Monday, and it should be there. And, yeah, it'll be a cool thing if you want to just listen without the video. I mean, you're only looking at me anyway, so really it doesn't matter. Both Tom and Steve are going to be calling in by phone here in about 2 minutes. So it's going to be a good time. I hope you guys enjoy the show. I appreciate, they just opened up. That's right, Jason. They did. I just saw in the news that they opened up some, you can go fishing, except you can't go with your buddies. It's only the immediate family. I'm like, huh? It's like, what? So you know what I'm going to tell them? That what's normal? No kidding. I'm going to tell them that my buddies are my immediate family, as are all of you. Rob D's, what's going on, man? And so tonight, like I said, we're going to be talking a little COVID. We're going to be talking about what they see. What this, like I said, this is unprecedented. Nobody's seen this before. So everybody's kind of up in arms. Loader and I talked about some stuff this afternoon. It was really cool. And so I'm just curious to see what two of the because I don't know if you saw the post in there, but Brandon Hamilton said Tom and Steve are the kings of racing talk radio around here. I'm just a prince. So, I'm below them. But that's okay. We're just a little show upstairs in my bedroom, and we make it work. So, and best of all, it's free. That's what I'm saying. Free is a good price. So we're not getting rich. Loader and I aren't getting rich. We're just up here doing it because we love to do it. So Pace says so many people dialing up, it's killing the World Wide Web. Yeah, man, I wish. Hey, Vince, what's going on, man? Thanks for tuning in. Great Doug Pace. We had him on last weekend, and it was amazing. We had some good conversation, go way back. I don't know who I'm going to have next week, but we're going to find somebody good. Hopefully by next week, I got my fingers crossed the Loader will be back. It's going to be, man, it's been several weeks since we've been able to work together. So, but you know what? The Loader and I have worked so much together that our timing is still going to be pretty good. It's going to be great to have him back in the studio and have his insights and stuff. I've missed him a lot. So going to be good to have him back hopefully next week. It just depends on how things go. They, after losing, his wife has lost both her parents within like 6 months. So you can imagine the chaos, just the paperwork and I mean, among other things, just being overwhelmed with grief. You've got paperwork you've got to get through and all this stuff, and you got hospitals all over. I mean, just you got it all, So I can only imagine what his wife Terry is going through. I mean, I talked to him today. He said she's been kind of, it hits her at times, and then she pulls herself together, and it hit, gosh, I mean, that's losing your parents, 2 of them in 6 months. I mean, I can't even imagine just the hurt and sadness, and I mean, those are the people that gave you life, and they're gone. I mean, it's hard to wrap your head around that. So, prayers for them. But like a stud, the Loader's calling me up, still thinking about the show and talking about what we want to do this summer. We got some cool ideas that may happen. Can't really spill them now, but that's just the kind of guy Loader is, man. He's all about you guys. He's all about the show. He's all about like I am, like Tom, like Steve are. They're pushing. They want motorsports to be big around here, especially late model stock car racing. So, and here we go. Your favorite drivers and people of interest in the motorsports world. It's time for In the Seat, powered by Blue Line Graphics. Welcome to the show. We got a couple great guests tonight. Our In the Seat guests, like I told you, they're 2 of Northwest. They're the kings of broadcasting. I'm the prince. We got Steve Mortland and Tom Glithero with us. They're on a conference call. Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hi, Terry. How are you?
Good.
Good. It worked. I told you it worked.
Hey, yeah. Where's Tommy at?
I'm right here just to let you guys go.
Oh, good to have you guys on, man. This is you know what? As unprecedented as COVID-19 is, this is the first time I've ever had two guys on the show at the same time. So thanks for you guys got all the see. That's why you guys are the kings, and I'm only the prince. You guys got all that high tech stuff.
Yeah, well, Mortland's got a whole bunch of it, and I just have a phone, and that's all I can do.
Well, hey, first of all, how are you guys? We'll start with you, Steve. How are you guys? How are you holding up with all this COVID stuff?
Well, to be honest with you, I've been back to work for a couple weeks now, so that kind of ran it. So I was off for 4 weeks, and it was driving me nuts. And quite honestly, it's kind of how Tom and I got together to get North Sound Racing back going, because we both needed something to look forward to. And trying to help people out to get, because they don't have a track to go through, and what you're doing and what we're doing, it's really helping a lot of people out that are just jonesing to get back on the track. But yeah, for a while there, I was not a happy camper.
I'll bet not. Tommy, how about you? How's your family?
Well, everybody's healthy. I'll say I'm a little disappointed. I wish people would take this more seriously. I think if we buckled down a little while ago, maybe we'd be in better shape, and maybe we'd be back racing. But I'm a little bored. I'm just about ready to put the second coat of polish on my garbage cans because the honeydew list is done, gone, and stuff. But no, seriously, I think this is unprecedented times, as you said, and we need to deal with it. I just hope everybody takes it seriously, stays healthy, and we get back to racing very, very soon, because it's, not only the racers and they want to go racing, but we also have to remember that there's a lot of people who make their living off of racing in not only the Pacific Northwest, but the entire country.
That's a great point. I think we all kind of, with everything shut down, we kind of forget, man, there's tire manufacturers, there's wheels, and, the parts guys, and, and let alone, even the sponsors that help bring the races every Friday night, and the sponsors that are helping guys on their cars. They've got to get a return too. But so with that being said, when we can resume, what do you think the tracks are gonna? I know there's gonna be some limits and stuff, but are the tracks gonna have to do anything super different, or are they gonna just have to just do what they normally do once we get the okay to kind of go back and get things rolling?
Well, I guess I'll go first, if you don't mind, Steve. But I think a couple of problems that they're going to have to work out are how do you handle concessions? And the biggest one I see at racetracks, how do you handle bathrooms? Because to do social distancing and everything else, most racetracks have good acreage for seats, and so be able to do some things that way, and they can spread cars out over God's green earth and stuff. But how do you keep people away and apart, restrooms and things like that? So those are big challenges, and I know the promoters in the Pacific Northwest are working very, very hard, very, very diligently with lobbyists and everything else in Olympia to make sure this happens as quickly as humanly possible.
Yeah, Steve, what about you, man?
Well, I think one thing that Tom hit the nail on the head with the fact that the logistics of being able to make everybody happy, and that's, I think, going to be the biggest thing. I think people, they may want to go to the track, but I think a lot of them might be kind of leery about going until they get 2 or 3 sessions into it and kind of get a feel for how people are putting on a show, but still obeying the rules, obeying, kind of what the distancing and all the stuff that Tom brought up. Then I think it's going to really be a whole lot of good things happening for tracks. And boy, I tell you, they need it, because like, Tom was telling us the other night these guys, this is how they pay their bills. This is how they exist, and this is their small business. And it's been a grind for those guys, and I really feel for them. But man, anything we can do to get them to make it a lot easier and make it more successful for them, I'm kind of done seeing.
Yeah,
Terry, one of the things that came about, they did run a sprint car race in the Dakotas last weekend with no one in the grandstand, which racetracks can't do that and survive. But they said one of the things they hadn't anticipated was a car got upside down, or a couple of cars got upside down. The next thing you know, you had EMTs at the scene, you had firemen at the scene, you had tow truck drivers at the scene, you had push truck people at the scene, and you had a whole bunch of people that forgot 6-8 feet in their effort and their zeal to take good care of the driver, but they put people at risk.
See, and that's the big deal. I mean, as far as bathroom goes, they only got half a problem because guys are easy, right?
Yeah. Well, you may have just solved the problem.
Yeah,
Terry.
guys are easy. It's the women.
Figure it out. Scratch that one off.
Yep. Fixed. No, but seriously, I mean, you know what, Tom? That's one thing I never even thought about. Loader and I were talking about this afternoon, and he was saying it broke. They streamed it, and they had so many people on that it broke the server. And I mean, I mean, I get what you're saying. That's something that I can honestly say. Until you just said that, I never even thought twice about that. And I'll bet a lot of people haven't. I mean, what if somebody does get in a life-threatening situation? Were they prepared? I mean, the masks are great, but come on. I mean, your guys are sweaty. You're right, man. That's a scary thought. I didn't even think of that.
Well, and thank goodness we have those people at racetracks, and they take very, very good care of people out on that racetrack, because the families and moms and dads and wives and kids want to make sure that, that loved one that's inside that race car comes home to them safely. And, they go into a fire, they'll do whatever they need to do to help save a driver, who may be injured or could lose his life. And the next thing you know, we have a problem. And, the last thing that we can afford is to turn on Cairo News in Seattle, and they say 2,000 people gather at XYZ Speedway, 20 people now infected with the virus. Details to follow. Holy mackerel, would that be a black eye for racing? That'd
be like two black eyes, right? I mean, that would not be good. I want to read a post that Kelly Hale put up. He said, Steve and Tom, between the two of them, I've got to do many cool things. So you guys, even though you've been away a little bit, man, your history still is still out there.
If I can be somewhat I want to say sloppy, but I don't think that's the way I want. Guys like Kelly Hale are why I still get a kick out of doing this kind of stuff, because Kelly does it for all the right reasons, and he's got a great enthusiasm for what he does down South Sound, and I'm so glad that he's still doing this, because guys like him and Caleb and they got it figured out, and he's so nice of him to say that, because he's definitely one of the good guys. I like Kelly a lot.
Yeah,
I'll do anything for that guy.
Sorry about that. I've got my there it is. It's still going. Yay. No, there it goes. See, Facebook. It's. I know it's not them. It's just they're so overloaded that this thing it just can't keep up. So it'll keep the video for a while, and then it just kicked me off. So excuse me while I kind of get this thing back going. But
it's good to know someone else has issues.
Oh, dude, it never it never fails, right? It never fails.
Oh, I know.
But there we go. We should be hopefully, after the second or third time, it's pretty good. It just sucks when you get everybody on here and it goes away. But
well, when I stop and think about what I've been able to do, see, and the people that I've met in racing, I feel, very blessed from a guy who ran a midget for a number of years till he ran out of money and or talent. Took over running the club, ended up at Evergreen Speedway, ran that for the Beetle family for years, Yakima Speedway. I've done some spotting, clear up to, I spent a couple of years with a Craftsman truck. I have, in 8 years with Mortland, just some of the best friends, memories that anyone deserves in a lifetime. And so racing has been very, very good to me. Even, Terry, you came to the Western Auto Racing Promoters Association meeting in Portland last year, and I got to think you probably were a little impressed with what went on there, the number of people, and how that whole thing unfolds. And man, I love doing that. It's just a great weekend for me.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you, it was my first time, and I got to thank James Connolly for getting me in, because I didn't, before that, I never really had an in, and so he gave me one of his passes, and I got to go, and yeah. And by the way, I didn't deserve the time, but you gave me some time, and so I certainly appreciated that. But yeah, man, it was I told why am I drawing? Oh, Bert. I told him, man, I said, hey, I'll come and help, man. I just want to be able to get into this thing. If you need to put me to work or whatever, I'll do it. But I definitely I had the time of my life, man. It was great information. I thought the guys from GM were super informative, and the guy that does all the halftime stuff there. I mean, man, it was just some cool stuff. And then I think there was the one guy there talking about just how important social media is and all of that stuff. I mean, it was just things that I had never heard before, but kind of solidified everything that you kind of hear about, but you go, I don't know, is that really true? And it is. It's a big deal. So, and I got to rub elbows with some of the hot dogs and to see Garrett win that award. And I mean,
that was just so cool.
It was cool, man. And so, yeah, I was, that thing is awesome. I don't know. I don't know how you don't want to make it a big grand thing, but it sure would be cool if more people could get in there and go somehow, because it really is a super cool thing.
Well, and the banquet or the dinner party in the evening where we present the awards and stuff is one of my absolute favorites, because when you can make Carla Stewart. Carla won the award a couple of years ago. She got up there and a squeak came out of her mouth. That was it. And last year in November with Steve Beitler sitting in the front row, and I had everybody standing up, and then we eliminated it down till just Steve Beitler is standing. And to watch Steve trying to look through his armpit to see if anybody is still standing behind him, tears rolling down his face because he won one of the awards. There's only like 2 awards that are giving out every year, and it's an award I know he wanted. And to see that happen was so cool. And we ended up, there were 3 of us in the bar at 4 a.m. in the morning. It was Steve Beitler, my wife, and me. And finally at 4 o'clock, with the sun coming up, we went, okay, it's time we go to bed for a couple hours, but it's a great deal, and it's so much fun to do. I'm glad you got down there to see it, because people really don't think these promoters work together. They really don't think they take good care of each other. I know you weren't in the Friday afternoon meeting, which is promoters only, but they do work hard. They do take good care of each other. And right now, and I know racers are getting anxious and they want to go, but I'm going to say this to them: be patient. Be patient. I promise you, from the drag strip in Kent, Pacific Raceways, all of the road courses, the circle tracks, they have all got together. They have lobbyists. They are hiring people. They are meeting with the governor. They're doing everything they can to get these racetracks open, because yes, they want to provide good quality entertainment, but man, they've had bills that have been coming in since last October, and no money coming with them.
See, and that's just it. And people really don't understand. You're right. They don't understand, just what kind of I mean, that's a lot of pressure, man. You know, I had Heather Boyce on the other night, and she just bought Cottage Grove. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, imagine just buying that and then having this take place, and you're thinking to myself, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How am I gonna I mean I'm sure that who she's buying it from, what's his Jerry Schramm. I'm sure will work with her, but I mean still, what a complete letdown. You got all these big plans and you're all ready to go and your season's about ready to kick off, and then boom, so I think you're right.
And think about it, since last October or whenever they ran their last race, they still have insurance they have to pay. It's not participant accident, but they have their other liability insurance and their insurance on the facilities. They have electrical bill, even if the big lights aren't on. That stuff's going on. They may have some people that they've been trying to pay. They probably already bought 200, 300, 500 tires so that they're ready for guys. They may have a load of fuel. Maybe they got a load of toilet paper in if they got to Costco before everybody else did. Money's going out, man. And they've been painting walls. I know Skagit Speedway, that place is ready to open, painted, pressure washed, ready to go. His staff was there, and he had to let them all go because, the bank of Steve Beitler, then it was running out of cash.
Hey, man, and it wouldn't take long. I don't care how big your bank account is. At this point in time, it's easy to run out of cash. I don't care how much the government gives us, right? I mean,
yeah, I do it every day. Hey, if I could, can I share one special Warpa moment?
Yeah, absolutely, do it. Yeah.
Tom had mentioned there's 2 awards that they give out every year, sometimes 3, depending on the mood of the group, right? But one is the Midgley Promoter of the Year or Event of the Year, right, Tom?
Yeah, the First Class Promotion Award, correct.
First Class Promotion Award. And then
I'm looking at 4 of them in my office right here, right now.
As you should. And the one that really people want to get is a very special one called the Orville the Clown Award. And the year that Tom Glithero won that, I tell you, that was just the best. And you know how difficult it is to keep a secret in this local motorsports industry, right? Well, boy, they did a phenomenal job. The only one in the room that knew that Tom was getting that award was his wife, Jan, because she's the one that provided the information. But, man, I tell you, to see Tom get recognized for a lifetime, virtually a lifetime of involvement, that, to me, was just the best. And everybody who gets that, they really know how to pick it. They get it right every time, and it's just the coolest award. It's, like I said, the one that everyone wants to get, and I'm so glad that I was there to see Tom get it.
It was probably the one time you've also heard me speechless because
I
normally have an opinion on everything and willing to share it.
Yeah,
but
you do.
By then I felt I had been gone so long that I was irrelevant in the sport. And they're talking about this person, and I went, oh, I've done that. Oh, I've done that. I've done that. Oh, I've done that too. I look over at my wife, and she won't look at me, and I'm like, holy crap. And so it does mean it, and it's 2012 because I can see it from my chair right here. So
there you go.
Hey, Terry, before we go too far in this, if we're going in a direction, I want to tell you a story about one of your best friends.
Okay.
And that guy is Shane Biles, right?
Yep.
Oh, good.
Let's go back a number of years ago, and I don't remember what year it is. Shane would know, but I was running Evergreen Speedway, and I got the bright idea to go out and see if I could find a sponsor that if one driver won 4 super late model races in a row, he'd get a $10,000 bonus. A lot of money for 1990, whatever it was, or whatever. So I go to the local tavern in town there. This guy's name was Dick Radill at Keg and Q Tavern. I said, Dick, I want to do this. $10,000. We'll buy a policy and we'll put it out there. He said, you think anybody win it? I said, nope, but it'll be great publicity all year long. Well, lo and behold, Dick Radill at Keg and Q Tavern also sponsored a super late model, Shane Biles.
Oh,
so
no.
Shane Biles
Yep.
kicks off, win 1 in a row. That's right. Good, Tom. 2 in a row, 3 in a row. And so the crowd's going absolutely stupid crazy because Biles has a chance to get 4 wins in a row and a $10,000 bonus. So I went out and I was standing kind of in the figure 8 area in the middle of the backstretch. I got my race officials. We start the race. Biles is running second behind Tom Moriarty. And unbeknownst to me, there was a little deal between the two of them. If Moriarty was leading, he was going to roll over and play dead. Biles was going to get his 4 in a row, and there were going to be a little cash, towards Tom to help it pay for it. Well, Tom gets out front, and Tom forgets the deal, right? A racer do that. So anyhow, we're getting late in the race. All of a sudden, I'm standing, like I say, going into turn 3. Coming out of turn 4, Moriarty goes around. Biles just goes right behind him.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, oh, this is not going to be good. And then my race director comes on and goes, Tom, yeah, we have a problem. I said, what's that? We don't know what happened. And I'm thinking, oh, crap. I said, tell you what I'm going to do. Biles got a black car. Moriarty's got a yellow car. I'm going to stop Biles' car in the middle of the backstretch. And if there's a tick of yellow paint on that car, go into the back. Right? And if there's no paint, we're going to put him back up front. He goes for 4 in a row. So Biles pulls up, and the first thing I did is I look him dead in the eye because I want to see what his eyes are telling me, what happened. And he stares at me, and he doesn't even blink, not one blink. And so now I'm like, oh, crap. So I look at the front end of the car, no yellow on the bumper. We put him back up front. Biles goes on, 4 wins in a row, $10,000 bonus. Well, here comes Dick Rodilla after the races, and I'm thinking, oh, he's mad at me. This is not going to go well. And Dick says to me, Tom, did you plan that? I mean, did you plan that whole thing out? And I said, oh, absolutely, Dick. to this day, and it's 20-some years later, Biles has never, ever, ever admitted to either turning him or didn't hit him. If you ask him the question, he'll lie to you, blow you off, whatever. I still don't know. But the insurance company had to pay $10,000. Biles got it. I'm sure he put it into beer.
Oh, wow. Yeah. What a cool story. See, those are the things that those are the coolest to me. Those are the cool stories, and it's okay. Here's my deal. Here's what I was telling some people the other night was, if somebody, not that I'm any good or anything, but if somebody came to me and they said, hey man, I got this late model. It's probably, it's not going to run up front. It's, top 5 maybe, but we're a top 10 car or whatever. Would you drive it? And a lot of people said, no way, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, no way. But me, I said, absolutely I would, because the older I get, the more I appreciate that winning is just a benefit. Winning is just a benefit. It's being out there. It's actually competing. It's being in the race car. It's actually, you know what I mean? If I'm making any sense, it doesn't, to a point, it really doesn't matter. You're out there. You're getting to do it. You're competing. You're part of one of the greatest sports ever. Winning just at that point to me, yeah, we all want to win, but at the end of the day, it's like, kind of, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Listening to you tell that story, Terry, one of the absolute coolest things I ever got to do in all the more years than I sometimes care to admit to about being involved in this racket was, I think, my second year out at Evergreen, which would have been 1999. And that's when I was working the PA side with Gary Cressy and Dave Pyland, who's still, in my estimation, the 2 greatest announcers that facility has ever had and ever will have. But that's another story for another day. But we used to be able to communicate with each other over 2-way radios. So Hollywood comes in my ear and he says, Morty, you got to head to Steve Peters' pit in the contact figure 8 pit. And he always drove the battle wagon, still does to this day. Just an absolute classic racer out of Evergreen Speedway. Well, at that time, he was running a 2-seat Cadillac figure 8 car. And I, being the dutiful guy that I am, go find Peter's pit. And as I'm walking towards him, he throws a helmet at me, and he goes, "Come on, we're going to go for a ride." So I lined up with Steve Peters with the wireless microphone and called the figure eight race from inside the figure eight car. We actually won it. It was the B main event, and I chose not to go for the ride in the A main because that would have been not good for my health. But that was just the coolest thing that Steve did for me, and it's weird. We still see each other to this day, and we always bring it up about how neat of an experience it was. But that's the kind of stuff you get to do when you have opportunities like all of us have, and just something you're going to keep with you and tell people about for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I tell everybody, man, at the end of the day, I mean, you can be the greatest winner of all time and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, what is it that people remember? It's the struggle, right? It's the road trips. It's the after parties in the pits. It's the the crazy things that have happened. I mean, for me, that's what over my years of both racing a little bit and watching everything is that's really, at the end of the day, it's the struggle that you really remember.
Yeah.
But, you're so right. But I mean, there are just so many cool stories that I've even heard or whatever. A tour race at Evergreen Speedway, and I believe the words came out of the mouth of one Garrett Evans. He sailed her down into turn 3 in the 5/8 and stuffed it in the fence. And one of the announcers runs down there and said, "Garrett, what happened?" He goes, "I hit the wall, stupid." And what's the follow-up question to that? Okay.
Nothing you can do. Yep, nothing you can do. And all the while, the guys upstairs are just howling at you because it's probably happened to them before too.
Well, and that's a timing issue there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's it's like when Earnhardt was in the 500. When Cope won. I mean, I don't know if I want to be the guy that'd have to go ask him anything after that, but
yeah, no
but
kidding.
Terry, your comment is so spot on. If you had an opportunity to drive that race car and you pass it up, I've always lived my life by, I wish I would have, I could have, and I didn't. And I don't ever want to say that. And I haven't said it so far, but if you get that chance, you're absolutely right. And it's harder sometimes to run 12th than it is to run second or third. It's really hard to run up front. To get right to that top, you got to work really, really hard. But sometimes when you're in the back, you don't have the best equipment, or you may not have the best crew chief, or maybe you just run out of talent or whatever. But you're working hard, and you pass one car, and that smile comes over your face, and you go after the next one and the next one. And the people who do it and do it well, and the Northwest has been blessed with some of the best from Herschel and Ron Eaton and Pete Harding. And Steve and I got to kind of live through those golden years of the NASCAR Northwest Tour when, we'd go to Evergreen and we'd open up the track and last weekend of March, have 45 cars there.
Oh, yeah.
It was the best all-time racing. I mean, I did a fall classic. I put on a fall classic in Yakima, and Ron Eaton and Pete Harding are playing I Can Lift You Up, the back end of your car, going down the straightaway further than you can. And I mean to tell you, my race director was as cool as ice. I was an absolute flipping mess watching these two guys. Never, ever spun each other out, or either one out, but they're going down the straightaway and they pick them up, slide them up, pass them, away they go, away they go, away they go. On Monday morning, we're cleaning up after the event, and Ron Eaton stopped by and he said, "You know what? I ran second to Pete, but that's the most fun I've ever had. And not one time did your race director or your flagman, point the black flag. They knew that we were two veterans. We'd go as far as we could go, but we wouldn't cross each other." And to see that happen, I mean, two people that were so skilled at what they could do, those are lifetime memories. And if you can have a chance to be in it, you got to do it.
Oh, man, I'm telling you. One of the coolest things for me was when it was back in the tour days. I don't know. You remember Dave Goulet?
Absolutely, out of Portland, yeah.
Yep. I was working for them, and that's when JJ had married Barb, and so I'd done go-karts and stuff, but I hadn't really, done anything car-wise yet, but we were there. We were there. God, I'm trying to. Al Rainwater was there. It was man. I think it was up at Yakima. So anyway, they called me Ribs at the shop after Willie T, right? Because he was the only black guy. So I told Goulet, I said, hey man, let's tell everybody that, you know, my name is Ribs and that Willie T is my uncle. And so everybody that we saw, you know, Dave says, hey man, this is Terry Bridges, we call him Ribs, his uncle's Willie T, and you know, all this. And so it got to be where it stuck. So even I saw Foxy last year at the Fall Classic, and he's screaming at me, Ribs, Ribs. And to this day, I don't even know if he knows. But, I mean, that's everybody. They'd say, hey, man, your uncle did pretty good, man. Your uncle did pretty good. And that's kind of how my nickname got going. I was Ribs, cool. And he was Hobbs for when they were on that Diatley team. And, yeah, and that's what we call each other to this day. He calls me up. I say, hey, Hobbs. He goes, Ibs, what's going on? So I mean, just it is. It's I've often told people, if it ended today, the relationships, I got to tell you, when you guys let me come up there to North Sound Radio, right?
Oh, yeah.
One of the biggest highlights, I mean, dude, I thought I was King Cool, man. But I'm telling you, it was one of the biggest highlights ever, especially when Russ Randall took me to downtown to whatever it is. It's, King or whatever. And he has his little radio show that he did, and he brought me in and let me sit in there, and I got to go around and see everything. Man, it was one of the coolest things ever. But if it ended today, the relationships that I've made, the friends that I've made, the people I've met, and all that stuff, I mean, dude, I'm a blessed man. I mean,
oh, we all are. I mean, take a look where you're at right now and all the memorabilia and stuff you have on the wall behind you. And I know Tom's pointed it out a couple times about this different, awards and all the stuff that he's got in the room that he's in right now. And I'm like you guys, I'm sitting here looking at all these different plaques and whatnot that people have been so, absolutely generous enough to recognize whatever it is that we've done in times that we've had North Sound Racing on. But one thing I did want to point out, and you reminded me of it, Terry, is I think it's really important for people that are as fortunate as you, me, Tom, to kind of pass this along, right? And to get other guys. We were talking about Kelly Hale earlier. And I know I listened to the show you had with Doug Pace on last week and how gracious he was with his comments. But I've always thought it was super important to kind of keep your ego out of it. And I've said thousands of times, you have to have an ego to kind of do what it is that we do, right? But to be able to help out guys like you and to get you to come up and experience what it is how we do it. And all it does is help you out, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And part of the problem, too, is that when you have such cool toys to play with, like we did at KRKO, and then you decide to go out on your own and you've got to invest thousands of dollars into equipment because, boy, you sure don't want to sound any worse than what you did when you were at the radio station with all this $1 million of gear, right? So I've always really had fun bringing, anybody who wanted to come on the show on just to experience what it's like because it's, it's a pretty cool experience, I think.
Dude, pretty cool. It's damn cool. I mean,
well, and
go ahead, Tom.
Your friends are in racing are your friends for life.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I think Wayne Walden has been on your show. The Walden family when they had Tri-City Raceways. John and Bonnie Ball, who had Wenatchee before Garrett, are people that we know. And I mean, I've had I was in California in February just before this crap hit, seeing some of my friends that I've made through racing. I don't have a lot of good friends, but all the good friends I have, they came from racing, and so I feel very, very blessed to been able to do that. My dad got me started when I was very little, and somehow it's been just an absolute wonderful journey. I was sitting in a bar in Indianapolis one night because we're going to the 500, and here comes Mario Andretti.
Yes.
It's like 10 o'clock at night with his sweats on, and just he sits in the corner and orders us up some Mario wine. And I mean, I'm just sitting there. I can't talk. How do you address Mr. Andretti? You know, and Steve's had the opportunity. I mean, some of the people we brought to Evergreen Speedway back in the day, whether it's Bill Elliott or Harry Gant or, you know, Sterling Marlin, Jeff Bodine, some of those people. And they were all just cool people. You know, I mean, Bill Elliott told me that he just wanted to be a race car driver. He didn't want to be, you know, Mr. Coors Light or Mr. Ford or Mr. Motorcraft or any of that stuff. He just wanted to be a race car driver from Georgia, you know, and to be able to meet those people, they're just like everyone else. Some of my best times in racing have been at a little dirt track in Boone, Iowa, where they had 400 IMCA cars. I love that better than I do, you know, super speedway racing.
Oh,
you know,
dude,
they're more genuine. They're more real.
This is coming from someone who was so hooked up at Indianapolis 500 and the Brickyard 400. Come on.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
that's one thing about Glithero. He goes in style wherever he goes.
I was noticing that at Warp. A dude was like Dapper Don, man. I was waiting for us the Mafia dudes to show up.
This is the kind of guy, and we had an opportunity to get in a pace car and go around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway due to a friend of mine from racing. He's been a friend forever. But I said to my wife, honey, you get in the front seat because if we crash, that way you're going before me. So that's the kind of guy I am.
Hey,
what a sweetheart.
Steve, Sean Hulbert wants to know, who's your favorite wrestler?
Currently or all time?
Well, how about currently, and then we'll go all time.
How about currently? I tell you, that one caught me off guard. I tell you what, I did just get done reading though, and this is I recommend this to anybody who is interested in that. I read the biography of Roddy Piper that was written by his daughter and his son, and that was incredible. So Roddy Piper was probably all-time favorite. Got to put CM Punk in there too, but man, currently it's so hard to watch now because it's so different.
It is. It's
junk.
But, it's junk.
Yeah, I would suppose you got to put the Undertaker up there. I mean, that guy is so bad. Austin. Austin is Tom's boy.
my favorite was currently, he's not current now, but sort of currently, was the Big Boss Man.
Oh, yeah.
Or Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. But my all-time favorite wrestler was Dutch Savage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I got to see Kurt Hennig wrestle in a high school gym up in Cedro Woolley.
Wow.
Many years ago. That was so cool.
Glithero, who's your favorite? Did you watch wrestling as a kid?
Some, but I would say, I actually thought recently of Stone Cold Steve Austin's 5 greatest promotions, and they are phenomenal. I mean, I watched those. I watched probably more wrestling than my wife can understand, but to me, I love if somehow we could get racing to have a good guy and a bad guy and not let it go off the road into the ditch. It's what we would need. You know what I mean?
Oh, Tom, you know what? I'll tell you a quick story. Go-kart racing, they ran the regional series, which they called the Northwest Gold Cup, and there was a guy by the name of Mike McMahon and Tim Moss. And these two guys, I swear, I shouldn't say they hated each other, but I can tell you of stories where they're going down the front stretch and they are banging wheels down the front stretch. One guy nudges the other guy. You see halfway down the chute, his hand goes up in the air with the middle finger out. They're on the grid. They're on the grid screaming at the steward going, he just gave me the finger. These guys. So, yes, rivalries are good. Healthy ones are good for the sport, I think.
Well, Terry, and part of and I'm going to change it just up a little bit, but there's a tie into this. But one of the things that Steve and I have talked about for years is the need for a museum for auto racing in the Pacific Northwest, and that'll never happen because it's too much time, too much money, and I don't have either one of those or whatever.
Well, what about the one down in Wilsonville or?
You're right, and there's starting to be some of those. But part of what the internet has allowed us to do is not to show the Macau helmet that was, cardboard on top and leather on the bottom or whatever, but to start saving some of the history and some of the stories and some of the pictures. And so I would challenge your listeners, if you haven't, start digging up some of those sites, because if you go to like Super Midget WMRA, which the Midget Association was started in like 1948, and Steve Muntz has done a great job of gathering up all this information of guys who left midget racing in the Northwest, went on to the Indianapolis 500, whatever, all of their champions and pictures and everything else. You look at Evergreen back in the day, Evergreen Speedway back in the day, another incredible website. Lewiston Speedway, Spokane Fairgrounds Speedway, Portland Speedway, Sky Valley Speedway, Spanaway Speedway. All of them are starting to develop these sites, and at least some of the history of our sport will be out there forever. I told somebody the other day, it's kind of like the girl who takes some pictures of herself in probably compromising dress and then sends them out to her boyfriend. It's out there forever. And
That's right.
It's so cool that it's happening. Take a look at those sites, and it's a gathering spot for pictures and newspaper clippings from Racing Wheels, which came from right down in the neck of your woods, Terry, in Vancouver, and Gary Sterner and stuff like that, and all these really cool old pictures and race cars and everything else. And back in the day when those rivalries, nowadays everybody's too vanilla and everybody's going to go on to bigger and better things, so they can't be the good guy, bad guy. But we need a little of that in our sport.
There's no doubt about that. None, because that gets the fans of it. And one of the questions I was going to ask you guys, I mean, you know what, and that's what I say about the show. Everybody says, well, what's your format? It's like, I don't have one.
Tell them our format, Tom.
Right? It's kind of like, hey, man, if we get on a conversation and it's good and it's rolling, I roll with it. I don't worry about it. I mean, really. But
yeah, Terry, I think you go to the Steve and Tom School of Prep Work.
Right? You just roll with it. You just kind of have an idea where you want to go. But, hey, you don't. Yeah. I mean, to me, those are the best. That's why I said, everybody says, well, hey, are you going to do it? No, I don't want to edit. You don't get to edit in racing, so I'm not going to edit my show. What you see is what you get. And sometimes, like, Facebook lets you down and does all that crap. But, hey, you still roll with it. Right? But one of the questions I was going to ask you is, how big are the fans going to play in this when we get back?
Ooh, that's a good one. Obviously, that's a tough question, because I think they're going to be absolutely gobsmacked to finally get out of the house, for one. I mean, if that doesn't put you in a good mood, I don't know what will. I mean, I know from personal experience how my mood changed when I finally got to go back to work and be around people. And I think the people that they're going to be so thankful to be there, to have that opportunity. And like we mentioned a couple times before, this has been a humongous wake-up call for those things that we've taken for granted. And we've sometimes taken for granted that we get to go to racetracks every week if we want. We may or may not, but we've got the option. And now that we don't have that option, we want that option. So I think they're going to be very, very supportive and very happy to be among other people. And I think it's going to carry. I think there's going to be some pretty good shows. I hope they can get them all in.
Yeah.
At least the big ones,
Yeah. Me too.
Whatever your discipline is, they've all got big shows. All the tracks do, but it'll be another step towards whatever normal is going to be, and I'm pretty jacked about that.
I think that the promoters that are really doing their jobs have already been thinking about this. I know I had an opportunity to talk to Doug Hobbs the other day. He's looking at all of his shows and trying to figure out ways to make them less days, maybe make them more one-day shows, because the cost expense of multi-day shows and hotels and more tires and everything else. As a car owner once told me, charge me more at the back gate, gouge the hell out of me. Just don't make me buy tires and hotel rooms. He said that's where it is. And so I think you're going to see some events change. And I honestly think that's a good thing. I think, and I did it, went back when I was promoting and added some days to some things. Short-term, good decision. Long-term, bad decision. So I think you're going to have to see more concise, close shows. For instance, Dirt Cup, which is in the second, third weekend of June at Skagit Speedway. We may not. My guess is we won't be back into racing by the middle of June. Close, but I don't know. But I mean, Steve may be looking for another date instead of being 3 days, maybe. And this is not Steve Beitler talking. This is just Tom babbling. So please put that behind it. But it could be a 2-day show or something like that to help fit that thing in. And racetracks may have to look at some Wednesday nights or some Thursday nights or something different to get enough dates in to do that. Because you're right, Steve. There's a pent up demand to go, and we're going to appreciate it like we've never appreciated it before. However, you still have to have nickels in your pocket to pay for hotels and tickets and hot dogs and T-shirts and everything else. So save your nickels.
Yeah, good point.
Well, before I let you guys go, which, by the way, I got to tell you, it's been a blast.
Yeah, it's been fun on this end, too, my friend. Thank you for letting us on.
Oh, man, it's my honor. Believe me, you're doing me more of a favor than I'm doing you one. But what's going on with North Sound? What do you guys? What are the plans and what can we expect? And
well, when
Steve's writing the plan right now, so right quick.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure it out. We have never been long range thinkers.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of got this idea to fire the show back up, and I got to be honest with you, Terry, you were very instrumental in helping me with that decision by just telling me, hey, don't do it. Don't sell your stuff. There's too much you can do with it. And Doug Pace was another one that said, hey, figure out something to do other than selling it. And I got to thinking about it and looking for something to do, like I was telling you earlier. And I just sent Tom a simple message. Want to put the band back together? And Tom, he's not stupid. He comes back with a podcast. I know someone who has equipment, and then a week later we're back on. And we kind of thought, well, maybe we'll do this until the racetracks get back open, just to give people, something different to listen to. And now that we've kind of gotten back, we'll be doing our third show coming up in a couple of days, but who knows how long it's going to go. That's kind of the neat thing about it. If we're not going to do any commercials, we don't want to, thump anyone's cause. We did a lot of that back in the North Sound Racing radio days, and we just want to talk to who we want to talk to. And if it goes for 2 months or if it goes for another 2 years, well, I guess we'll find out.
Dude, I think that's awesome. And let me just say, I mean, I know, a lot of people might think, oh yeah, there's company. There isn't any on this end. I want the best for you. I want the best for you guys, and I, if there's anything that I can do to help you, and if there's maybe a race or a show, or maybe we come up with something together. 3 heads are better than one. Well, our 3 maybe not, right? But
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'd be down to be working with you guys and helping you guys, or maybe we come up with something cool and we do a special podcast where we kind of all get together and do a crazy one. I mean, I don't know, but
I got lots of microphone cable. I'd love I know we could do something. And one thing I did want to mention too, and this ties into what you're saying, Terry, is the fact that, around this area, we've got a lot of cool stuff that people can take advantage of. What you're doing, what we're doing. Cole Sorensen up in British Columbia is doing a really cool podcast, and that's a kid who is not going to be around this area for much longer. You'll be hearing that name, Cole Sorensen, on MRN, I think. He's that good. But Sean Holbert with his Sean in the Dirt podcast, and like I said, what you're doing, and there's a lot of neat things that people can take advantage of. And that's one thing that Tom and I are pretty adamant about doing, is we're not going to stick to one certain, discipline or one certain track or one certain form of racing. It's, we kind of prove that with North Sound Racing on the radio side, that, we'll go all over the place, just as long as it entertains us. We hope it will entertain those who listen.
Yeah.
The three of us together could be pretty dangerous at an event, maybe, a bigger event where a promoter is going to be looking for some add-on talent to their regular Saturday night talent, because, they're there all the time and everything else. But we could maybe do something like that.
We'll let you set the rates, Terry.
Yeah, right.
Or something. And you're absolutely right. We can't get enough exposure for motorsports. You just can't, no matter whether you're in the Southeast, Middle America, or in the Northwest. And you do a great job of what you do. I listened, last week with Doug Pace, and Doug's a great guy, and we go back a long time with him and stuff. And you were talking about Gary Cressy earlier. I watched a little piece of a race from Shasta Speedway, and I heard Gary.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, the hair on my arm stood up, because that guy. As long as you had to have a bottle of E&J brandy, or he wouldn't announce for me. But that cat was so good.
Yeah.
Each and every time he did anything for me, I never worried about anything, because if the whole schedule went into the dumper, he was going to carry it, and two or three of us. And I have a story behind it. I won't tell it right now because we got other things to do. But I mean, he bailed my butt out so big at a Motorcraft 500 one year at Evergreen Speedway. And he looked at me, he goes, "Tom, don't worry. There's going to be three of us that are going to know about it. You, me, and the NASCAR official whose butt will be chewed when you leave here." And I went, "Okay, fine." And he was so good, and we miss him so much.
Yeah, and
Kelly Hale is so much fun and so good at what he does, and he fits in so well down there. It's just so neat that, and as Steve said, he does it for the right reasons. It's not about Kelly Hale. It's about having fun, conveying with the fans, and making racing a little bit better because he's in it.
And that's what you guys do, man, for sure. I mean, seriously. I do my little minuscule part, and that's what we try to do. And like I was telling Loader this morning or this afternoon was, hey, man, I'm not getting rich doing this, and I'm doing it because I like doing it. And as long as there's some people listening, I'll continue to do it, right? And
was it Doug Pace said 2 or 2 million, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's just it, and so that was the way I went to announce, go-karting the same way. Everybody said, "Well, there's nobody here." What, so I don't care. I'm going to pretend I'm going to pretend there's 50,000 people here. That's how I'm going to do it. So
I'm just happy I'm going to call you Ribs from now on.
Right.
Well, you know the story behind it anyway, but
yeah.
So yeah, I
thought you were talking about my dinner that I just finished.
Barbecue ribs.
Dinner, what's that?
Well, hey man, I just want you guys to know that I love you. I'm just honored to know you, and I just hope that in the future, man, we can do some things together. I mean, whether that happens in a month or 6 months or a year or whatever, just know that you got a resource here if you need it. I mean, for what that's worth, anyway. So.
Well,
that is so cool, and I appreciate that. And I met you at Oakwood a million years ago, and when you started announcing that I was running a go-kart down there, but I thought, man, this cat's got a voice. He's got a set of pipes on him, and stuff. I would just like to say this to all the racers, race fans, whatever. As Doug Pace said, be patient. It's going to happen, and I promise you, these guys are working as hard as they can to make this happen. Be patient, take good care of yourself, and support them. And if that means going over to Better All Auto Sales and you need a car or a truck, or going over to Leonard Evans Used Cars Superstore, go down and buy some tires for your race car, some fuel, anything that you can do to keep these guys going. Or if you own a small business and you think it's going to survive, maybe you buy a program ad or a signboard, or throw a few $100 at a race to help these promoters out, because it's a bad business model. 25, 35 nights to make a year's worth of income doesn't work that well. It's just tough. And this year it's even worse. So take care of them.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we're a little bit over, but hey, good luck with the show. Hey, everybody, if you guys remember it, it's not hard to remember. North Sound Racing. Be sure you check it out. Check out Steve Mortland on his Facebook page, or you can hit Tom up on his Facebook page, or you can hit the North Sound Racing Facebook page. Be sure you support these guys. We're all in the same boat, man. So when one wins, we all win. That's the way I see it. So
absolutely. Absolutely.
Let me know what I can do, man, okay? I mean,
yes,
seriously,
sir,
guys.
will.
And good luck with that.
Thank you, Terry.
Keep me posted, okay?
You got it, my friend.
All right, guys. Thank you, and good night.
Yes, sir. Good night. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Steve Mortland, Tom Glithero, sorry for all the technical difficulties. Was not my fault. I know I always say that, but I swear it's not. Hey, I just want to say, Don and Jesse Brown, thank you. You guys, I appreciate it. I do put my heart in it. I mean, it's everything I got. I mean, you can only be as good as you are, right? So that's me, but I'm working to be better and better each and every day. So I love you guys. I appreciate the support. One of these days, I'm going to get all the super killer gear so we don't have to worry about, getting dropped and stuff. But I love you guys. Put God first, then love yourself. Everything else falls into place. And if somebody's on the bottom, please go to the outside. And also remember, first and third Wednesdays, so we'll be back. I won't be back until May on Wednesday night, but I will be back on Sunday and Monday doing a history of karting thing on Sunday. And we'll be back with Late Model Monday. I'm going to try to get Kelly Hale on my show next week. And so be sure you tune in. If you like this, spread the word. I love you. Be safe. Be smart. And be kind to one another. That's what it's all about. Love you guys. Peace. Well, that's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed the show. If so, please like and share on Facebook. And don't forget to stop by TerryBridgesRacing.com on the World Wide Web and subscribe so you never miss a show. The audio version of tonight's show is now available on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, CastBox, or Podcast Addict. For the loader, Jeff Eden, I'm your horsepower performance host, Terry Bridges. And we'll see you next week for another episode of Late Model Monday, a Circle Left production.
Hey race fans, this is Steve Blankenship. You are tuned in to the quickest show on the web, Late Model Monday.
Peace, everybody. Love you. Thanks. Thanks a million. See you next week. Check us out on Sunday, too. It's pretty cool. Love you.
Hey everybody, this is Shad Sullivan coming to you from the headwaters of Bitter Creek, Archer County, North Texas. We have to talk. State officials will be assisting to help identify potential alternative markets if a producer is unable to move animals and if necessary.